Hey everybody, it's Brendo. I taught fountains at this wildfire, and basic premise of fountains is taking a move and moving it around a circle. Um, and that involves going into a reverse of that move and a top thing, kind of a top transition, and you can use a different move or you can just use a transition up high to work with that move. So the basic one, easiest one, I think, is buzzsaw fountain. And what we want to remember here is we're spinning in buzzsaw, and we want to drop down. And buzzsaw is an inside move; it's on the inside of our arms. And when we drop down, we're going to drop down onto the outside, and then drop down. So now we're both spinning on the outside. And then move, and then swoop up, whoop, and swoop up, and now we're on the inside again, and again moving from doing a transition that basically looks like palm in to palm out. So we're in buzzsaw, palms are in, and now palms are facing outwards, and then we go back down in to our buzzsaw. So our buzzsaw fountain basically looks a little something like this. Not quite like that last one. There we go. Something like that. Then we got a little confused, but we figured out 2-beat. And the basic thing with 2-beat weave, the 2-beat weave fountain, is that you want to have whatever shoulder, whatever way you're spinning reverse. So I'm spinning reverse now over my right hip, and I want my right poi to go over my right shoulder, then my left poi over my left shoulder, then my right hip poi is going to go down to my left hip, behind my left hip, and in front. Then we're going to do this little funky, basically a lockout turn, or like a weave turn, so that we put the other hand on top, and now we're back in that same position. It basically looks like that. So that's our 2-beat. And then we can be spinning our 3-beat, step it up a little bit, and spin our 3-beat over our left shoulder, or left hip, spin down, reverse, spin up in a windmill, and you can add a few different flares. You can quick step this, as I call it, which is basically doing like that, where you're just keeping it all in front of you. Keep all of the turns in front of you. You can also throw in the windmill, and you can throw in the windmill as just its own separate thing. So windmill and down, windmill and down. And with windmill, you can drop immediately to your backside, or you can also kind of do a little bit of a lockout in the middle and then go into your actual weave. And also you can throw in a reel. So basically spinning a low reel. So I'm spinning 3-beat, and then I spin a reel, and then I spin reverse, and now it's a windmill again. Reel, 3-beat, windmill. Not doing the 3-beat, or I'm not doing the reel there, I'm doing a reel. Etc. Then that really flows into the reel fountain, which is basically, it's chasing the sun around your own moon, which a lot of you learned in intro classes or just in this class. And then after we do that a bunch of times, it's basically just shoulder and hip reels, and then we split time it. And so you put you're basically putting a reel here, a reel here, a reel low at your hips, and a reel back over here. So a reel up at the shoulders, do your chasing the sun turns to your other shoulders, drop down, then do hip reels, hip reel turn to your other hip, and just keep going. And you can kind of cheat the front and do it. You can kind of cheat the upper shoulder and do two beats on the bottom like that. That's kind of how I tend to do it, but you can also make a very big distinction from here to there over versus like the way that I usually do it, which is just. And then after all that, you got to remember to then, if you are spinning forwards over your left hip, spin forward over your right hip and continue on to do it that way. So you would be spinning the opposite direction of your fountain, and do that, and then work up to trying to figure out anti-spin fountains. That is next class, or later on. So cheers.